Haven't done an update on the Cobra for a little while now. A lot's happened over the summer as far as how busy I really got. Haven't really had time to do a lot of videos that I wanted to do, mostly related to work. Having a new facility built, I got pulled into doing a lot of overtime. I mean, I wanted to do it, but it just ate up a lot of my spare time. A lot of time that I couldn't do videos with this. The Cobra sat for about 2 weeks plus because of that. And as you can see, plugged into a battery tender because my alternator also fried in that time frame. I'll throw up a quick photo here of the last time I actually drove it. I was only a couple miles down the road. Battery light came on and I realized the alternator was pretty much done at that point. But the point of this video is to get everyone up to speed, what's gone on with the Cobra, what's going to happen going into the fall months and into the winter. As we're getting to the point where summer's winding down now, I mean, there's not really a lot of time left. I have a pretty good suspicion that what killed the alternator finally was that video that I did with the race against the Challenger. It was some pretty hard pulls back to back, and the VMP spinning that much harder on the stock alternator just is not going to survive for long term. The fact that it lasted this long, it's kind of surprised me. A lot of people have been asking me, I did some posts on social media and just texting with people asking, they thought this had an aftermarket alternator on it. It did at one point. When this was dyno tuned with the VMP on it, it had a KMJ. I don't even know if I mentioned this before, probably why people have been asking me, but in the 20 years that Performance Dyno has been tuning these Cobras, I was the first one to ever bend an alternator pulley on the dyno, so it really screwed the pulley up. I didn't see it, but I know that it was enough so that it shredded the belt and ended the dyno pull. So for the short term, to get the car dyno, they threw the stock alternator back on, and that's the one that's been on the car since that point. So as of right now, I still have the KMJ, it's in the house. I just ordered a 3.2 inch pulley for it, and I'm figuring out the exact belt size that I'm going to need to go on this, because it's going to be a little bit different. It's got a 76.5 belt on it right now, according to the numbers on the belt. That will change because the alternator pulley size is going to change, so I need to do some calculations, figure out which belt is going to go on this. Probably the next video you guys might see, I'll probably just do one of taking the alternator out. I mean, it sucks, I did it before, but not really looking forward to doing it again either. I had been so busy with work and everything that when the alternator died, I was thinking that, I'm just done for the year. It's going into fall. I'm just going to get it down to the shop and I'll let them do the work on it that I have planned for the winter and call it good. Then the more I thought about it, it's like I still have the month of September, the month of October, and it's a lot of time just to give up. So I figured I might as well buy the alternator, not buy the alternator, but buy the pulley, get the alternator put on and enjoy that time that I do have with it. There's of course still more videos that I want to do in the car driving it, so it's another motivation to get that alternator swapped out and get it running right. As far as the plans for this fall, I'm still waiting for a time to get into the dyno to get it done with Torco. I know I've mentioned in past videos, my two options to get that done were wait for a spot to open because they're booked out until like probably October. So the other option, number two, is to drop the car off and he'll do it when he has time. That could be 2 days, it could be 3 weeks, who knows. The downside to that is I don't know how long the car is going to be going for, and I can't get the dyno pull on video, which I want to do. So I said I'll just wait until a spot opens. I think worst case scenario is after I drop the Cobra off at the shop for the winter, he's not very far from the dyno. So he has an opening and he hasn't tore the car apart quite yet, maybe it can get brought down and get that pull with the Torco on it. Maybe I'll get to record it, maybe I won't, but I would like to get dyno numbers with the Torco as it sits now before the end of this year would be nice. Now I don't want this whole video to be bad news, so there is a little bit of good news. I do have a 3.1 pulley to go on this. Currently has a 3.3. If I can, I'll try and get the 3.1 with the Torco pull for the dyno. That would be nice to do that. Currently the 3.3 is the lowest boost level pulley that you can get with the VMP Gen 3R. So the 3.1 plus Torco should pull some really nice numbers. I don't know if I'm going to be able to run the 3.1 all the time, especially on 93 octane like it runs all the time now. Maybe I'll just start running Torco all the time and run the 3.1. We'll have to see what it does for numbers and how everything looks. I also hadn't ordered any parts for this for quite a while other than the 3.1. It's been, like I said, the summer was so crazy busy for me outside of trying to do stuff with the Cobra that a lot of it took a back burner approach until I started to get caught up and had more free time available. But I did just recently buy BMR K-member with their A-arms to go along with the long tube. So when this goes to the shop for the winter time, the initial plan was to have the IRS rebuilt, put the long tubes on, and also do the K-member and all that stuff and a few other odds and ends to go with it. That was pretty much the plan for the winter. But as some of you have probably seen from another recent video of the valve seals being bad in this, that's a whole nother issue that's got brought up. And I can either get that done over the winter at the same time or try and put it off for maybe like another year and do it next fall, next winter. But I'm kind of leaning more towards doing it in the short term. It's going to be a pretty expensive shop bill as far as dropping the IRS, rebuilding that whole thing, putting the long tubes on, and rebuilding the whole engine at the same time. But it's one of those things where he's going to have to drop the engine out anyway to put the long tubes in. So while it's out, you might as well pull the heads off, get the heads refreshed, do everything else involved with doing some updated stuff on its engine, timing chain, guides, all that stuff, head studs. Maybe put that 3.1 pulley on with a bunch of Torco and turn the boost level up and really see what it will pull next spring. That would be nice to be able to do that. It's kind of like the tentative plan right now. I'm still kind of talking with the shop as far as if that's too much to do over the time frame where it'll be at the shop for, but it's still kind of working on the details on that and what the overall cost might be looking at that. But that will conclude this video. I still feel horrible. Those of you that may have seen a recent video on the Bronco, I am on the back end of COVID at this point. I'm fine to walk around the house and my fever's gone and everything, but to sit here and talk a lot and record a video doesn't go as easy as what it usually does for me. So I'm going to cut this as it stands now. The next video hopefully will be getting the alternator swapped out and all that stuff. So just want to get everyone up to speed on what's going on with the Cobra and how things are going to look in the coming months. Thanks for watching, everyone.